Right, welcome to my video. I'm sitting outside the supermarket at the moment. I didn't think I would be getting it just as the kids had knocked off school and mums are all here trying to get their groceries. Anyway, I'm going to just do an update on where things are at and just a little bit of a talk on how you can check the values, the calorific values of food. So, just moving forward, I've put through my statistics again today from my smartwatch. Also, the eating plan that I did yesterday. It's still pretty erratic, but I'm trying to get some sort of system in place, which I'm working on slowly, and hopefully it'll start to show a bit more promise as time goes by. Now, I wish that all these people would stop wandering by my car. Never mind. So everything's still going along fine. I'm managing to keep a track of what's happening with the food and trying to record it and all that sort of thing. And one of the things that I was going to talk about today is just how you can keep checking on the values of the food. Now, here in New Zealand, I don't know if it's the same all around the world, but here in New Zealand, every product that you buy has to have a chart on the back of it which shows what the calorific value is per serving or per 100 grams. It also shows what the protein count is, what the carbohydrate count is, what the fat content is of each product, and then it goes down into a bit of, with your carbohydrates, it breaks it down to sugars and things like that. So I've got a few here that I will show as I go through and put up. But when I go to the supermarket, I always try, when I'm looking at products, I try and find the ones that have got the best value as far as not only the food, it has to be nice and tasty. It's awful when you get something and you think, oh God, that tastes awful, why'd I bother? I've got to try and get something that's sort of nice and tasty that's going to keep me on track, but also that it's got not overloaded with sugars and fats or things like that, because everything that I have has to fit into this grid. Now, what I've got with that grid, which I've shown every day, I look at the calorific value, or the kilojoules. Most of the products here are in kilojoules, but for ease of people understanding, I convert that to calories. And then we've got the fat content per how much I've got in the serving. And then I have the carbohydrate value, and then I have the protein value. Some of it is 0, some of them are point something or other, very small amounts, but I include them anyway. And at the end of the day, on my spreadsheet, it adds up to the amount that I've had to eat of each one of those elements throughout the day. Now, it's just remembering, when you have a cup of tea and all that sort of thing, just to remember to add that in. Normally, a cup of tea wouldn't be a great amount, but because I always put milk in mine, I have to consider the value of the milk that goes into it. And if it's a product that I've bought, can always get the values of each product off the back of the pack, work out how much I've had of that particular product included in whatever it is that I've been eating. And then that just goes into the slot, into the grid to add up for the end of the day. Now, right down the bottom, I have the total amounts of each element, of how many calories I've had for the day, how many kilojoules, how much fat, how many carbohydrates and how many proteins. Now, that there is a line on its own. Then underneath that, because of previous research that I've done, I've looked at what I should be eating in a day for my age, my weight, being a female, the activities that I do, which is at this stage is pretty much 0. I've worked out what I should be consuming on a daily basis so that I can still be losing weight. Now, this isn't a rapid weight loss. It should be just a steady weight loss. So I will have highlighted below, I will have highlighted that row. Now, underneath that, I take away the amount that I've had away from the amount that's been recommended that I have. And I take it away and I see whether I'm overeaten or in that particular, no, I look at whether or not I have overconsumed a particular element during the day or whether I'm in deficit for that for the day. Now, if I have overeaten, say I've had too much protein, it'll do a minus, which means that I've gone over my limit. Now, if it's just a normal figure, it just tells me that it's that amount that I've had is under or equal to the amount that I've recommended that I should have for my body on a daily basis. Now, it's not a fancy spreadsheet. I mucked around with it for ages and tried to get it to work. And I'm not, even though I can do spreadsheets, I'm not sort of one of these that sort of gets in there and does everything fantastic with one. All it does is just gives me the figures that I need and gives me the values that I want. So based on that, that's how that chart works. And I do that every day. I try and do it from the one I've done today was the food that I had yesterday. I recorded what I had yesterday and that's all gone into that chart. And so that shows me what I had yesterday, where I'm down, where I'm over. And I can sort of each day try and adjust and think, well, I had that and maybe I could have had another piece of fruit or something like that just to bring the amount up. I don't want to be doing it where I'm not getting enough food, but I want to be making sure that I'm not going over what I should be. And then in a law of averages, if my research is correct, then I should be losing weight on a very steady basis. Now, I'm going to show you just a little clip here of my scales. This is the reading I took right at the start. It was earlier on or late last week. That was the reading on my scales at the time. Now, I'm only going to weigh myself once a week. So once the weekend comes around, I'm going to get on there again and have a look and see what the scales tell me. Hopefully, it's going to tell me that I've lost some weight. I feel like it has, but hopefully. And I'll record that as soon as I've done that. I'll put that into the next post that I put on, next video that I do. So anyway, based on that information, you can see there that I'm trying to get into a habit of recording my food, tracking what food that I'm eating compared to what I should be eating, what the values are. Sorry, I keep looking away from the camera, but I looking into the front of the checkouts of the supermarket, and there's lots of people there looking at me wondering why I'm sitting in the car talking to myself. But anyway, that's all part and parcel of it. What I'm going to do now is when I go into the supermarket, I am going to get a few items that I needed for my dinner this evening that I just want to add. I'll explain that all tomorrow, what I've got and what I intended doing with it. And also, I know I said I'm going to get some exercises worked out. I still haven't done that. It's still in the timeline, but I will get there. So yeah, it's quite time consuming thinking about what I'm going to talk about each day and then putting things together so that I've got something that makes sense and that can be of value to people. So at this stage, I will leave it and go into the supermarket and get what I need. If I've got anything else to add, I'll continue and just do a bit more recording when I get home. But if there's anything that I've written down that I was going to talk about but I've forgotten, and I'll do that when I get home and add that on to the end of this video. So for now, that's me. As the usual story, if you've got anything out of this, I hope you start getting something out of it eventually. I feel like I'm all over the place like a mad woman, so I do apologise for that. I hope to be able to get myself into a more organised state so that I can be systematically giving information that starts to make sense. But I just need to explain that because I am all over the place at the moment, that's what the process is like of trying to get into an eating plan that you're organising yourself without having any guidelines on what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So if you decide to start doing this yourself, if you're going to follow a plan that you get out of a book or off the internet or something like that, that's fine. If it's something that you've devised yourself, then you are going to be all over the place, which is what I'm doing right now. But hopefully, over a period of time, this is all going to come together, start making sense, not just to me, but to everyone that's watching. So we're all on this journey together. Anyone that is interested in following along, thank you for that. And hopefully at the end of the day, we'll all get some value out of this. So in the meantime, that's me. I shall say goodbye just for the time being, and I shall go into the supermarket and get the items that I need. Okay, that's it for today. You take care and stay safe. Okay, bye-bye.